First of all, why we are going for a test plan means before that real testing gets started, what the quality managers, QA managers are going to do means they are going to prepare one they're like they are going to do a plan how the testing should carry out. So what are the process they want to follow inside the testing, and so who is going to do which kind of things, what are the testing methodologies we are going to use, what are the strategies we are going to use, so how the process should be for, see, this test plan is going to be varied based on project to project. Okay, even though if you are working in the same company, if you are going to work in different projects, right, each and every project is going to have its test plan report is going to get vary based on that particular project, based on the uh, requirements how we are getting, and what type of testings when we want to do the testings, all these kind of things and all, right, that is going to get vary based on the project to project. Now you just got it, what is test plan in the sense.
So you mean
Yes,
we
yes.
use different type of testing in different cases, right? Like smoke testing, UA testing, everything different will be changed.
See here not only we are we are just going to talk about different testings, but here we are going to talk about the complete process. So see, if for this particular project, so what is the process we are going to follow, and what are the testing types we are going to do, who is going to do which kind of testings. So that means unit testing in some projects, unit testing should be done by the testing team itself. But in some projects, testing like unit testing is going to be done by the development team. So here, that's what, like I told you, right? In this particular project, they are going to specify that unit testing is going to be performed by the development team. Requirement study is going to be done by the business analyst. Here in this project, they are saying business analyst. But when it comes to us, right, the product owner is going to take care of this particular requirement study. And also in some projects, right, the project manager is responsible for this particular requirement study. See, who is responsible for which type of things and all, also it is going to be there in this test plan. You see, test plan is nothing but before we start our testing, right, they are going to plan when they are going to start the testing, who is going to do what type of testing, what and all the type of testings we are going to do. Are we going to do automation testing in this project or not? We are going with the only manual testing, or we are going to do both manual and automation. See, such kind of things and all. See how many cycles. See here they told, right, totally they will be having 3 cycles. Within 3 cycles they want to close the complete process. They should not extend beyond the cycle 2. In case if they are going to have the defects at the high range, then only they should go for the cycle 3 process. See, this is the standards which they are going to provide, and each and every person in that particular project, the testing team is going to follow this document, and they are going to release the project based on this particular document only. You are getting this point. See, this is a proof. This is like before, like as a testing team members or as a QA team members, we all should study this document first before we start our testing. So then we want to understand who is going to do what type of testings, and what are the type of testings we are going to implement, and what is the main objective of this particular test plan is, like who and all the audience they are going to involve here. And see here, they told one of the thing here. So the for testing the functionalities of the system, production like data should be there, or otherwise you should not test. So these kind of things and all, they are going to specify. If the production data is not there, means you want to get the production data and then you want to test your application. You are getting this point?
Yes.
See, so just before you start your real testing, you want to study this test plan. This test plan is going to give an overall picture what you are going to do in this project. When you want to do what type of things, who is going to do what type of things. Okay, all these things are going to be like they will be specifying. See, some exploratory testing should be carried out once the build is ready. So if the developer is going to release something, then first you should not go and take the test cases and test the application. So this exploratory testing should be carried out by one of the experienced person. Once he is going to do the exploratory testing and he is going to make sure that the system is fine, means then only it will go to the next level of testings, like component testing, integration testing, system testings, regression testings. All those testings are going to be they are going to do that kind of testings after doing this exploratory testing only. So defects and all, where you are just going to you want to record the defects. So if you are going, if they are going to specify one particular defect tracking tool, means so you are just going to, you want to use that particular defect tracking tool only. You should not use some other tool for tracking the defects and all. If they are going to say you want to use Jira tool for defect tracking, then the defect tracking tool should be used. I think one of the person who did not join here, like Devil, right? 1 second. Just let me check with him. What is the reason? So, okay, fine. You are getting it, right?
Yes.
Now you just got what is the test plan. Inside the test plans, what and all. See, these are all the things they are going to specify. Who is going to specify? The project, the test manager is going to specify these things. So you are just going to follow this process. That's it, by just looking into this document. The test team will be provided with access to test environment via VPN connectivity. The test team will be provided. Okay, you just got it, right? So
Yes.
next one, if you see actually there is some set of VPN connectivity. Do you know about what is VPN connectivity? And also nothing to worry. So if you want to work in some kind of projects or something, right, they will be having separate environment. So after entering into that environment only, you will be able to access some kind of applications and all. So that kind of things and all, you should have some VPN connectivity to connect to their environment, and then only you will be able to test the things. So here that restrictions is there. Okay. So in this project, they are specifying all these things. So just by reading this, all these things, you are going to make sure that, okay, these are all the things I want to follow. Okay, for test case design activities will be performed by the QA group. Okay, we want to prepare the test case design document activities. And the test environment is going to be prepared by the development team. So in some cases, test environment will be prepared by the even testing team itself. In some cases, their development team is going to prepare. In some cases, there will be a separate DevOps team will be there. They are going to prepare this environments. So it depends on the project to project. It's very. So that related information and all, it's going to be given here. You're getting it right. And the dev team will be provided defect fix plan based on the defect meeting during each cycle to plan. So the same will be informed to the testing team prior to start the defect fixing cycles or something. See, you want to just go through all the points one by one, and you want to understand. So what exactly you want to follow, what exactly you are just going to do, what the project manager is going to do. Project manager or business analyst is going to be the responsible for signing off all the test deliverables. And the project will provide test plan, test designs, and test executions related stuff. So like this, there is no environment down during test due to outages or defect fixings. So such kind of things and all, it's going to be there. So you are just going to, the system will treat as a black box. If the information shows correctly online and in the reports, it will be assumed that the database is working properly. So like that, they are going to specify some set of things related to front end, back end, how the things are going to be there. Cycle 3 will be initiated only if there is more defects in the cycle 2, or otherwise within cycle 2 itself, we want to stop the things. And if it comes to the functional testing part, so during functional testing, testing team will use preloaded data which is available on the system at the time of execution. That means if you want to test some kind of functionality of the system, already as I told you, some kind of data should be available. Without that data, you should not proceed with the testing part, functional testing. So the test team will be who is going to perform the functional testing means testing team. So that is they are going to mention. See, in the UAT side, you know, right, what is UAT in the sense? UAT means what?
User acceptance testing.
Yes. When it is going to be done?
At the time of before release.
Right. Perfect. See, once we as a test engineer, we are going to test the entire system, and we have completed all the regression testing also. Then we are going to do the sign off, and then we are going to deliver it to the customers. And once after, as a QA team is going to sign off the things, and that means it is going to be ready for the release. So before it release it to the live environment, some of the customers, some of the people from the customer end, they are going to come and sit with us and do the UAT test. UAT means user acceptance testing. So they are going to make sure that all the requirements which has been provided by them has been properly developed or not. And so in this UAT, who and all the people are going to involve means in this project, they are saying that QA team should support the customers with the help of business analysts and project managers. But in some cases, some of the projects, only QA team will be supporting to UAT. In some of the projects, project managers will be involved in the UAT part. So that depends. Okay. But most probably QA team help will be there as per my assumption. So who and all is going to involve in the UAT, they are going to mention in this test plan. You're just getting it right?
Yes.
Yes. Sir.
So now you have seen, right, like what are the things that we have found in this test plan. see what exactly the testing approaches we are going to follow, overall frameworks, how we are just going to drive, how we are just going to drive our testing, and what are the approaches, testing approaches we are going to follow related to that. So all this thing, this is the main purpose of this test plan. So they are going to give the complete picture of what are the testing approaches we need to follow, and what are the overall frameworks we are going to take, and how we are just going to drive the testing. Okay, these things only it's going to have. And also, who and all the people, audience, it is available for who is going to do which kind of testings, and what are the strategies we are going to follow, and that is testing objectives, and also what are the key assumptions, test assumptions you are just going to have in this, what are the complete process, who is going to do which kind of things, and what is the functional, who are going to do the functional testing, UAT testing, and all those complete testing related process they have mentioned here. And in additional to that, in this test plan, what they are going to have means they will be having the principles. See, if you want to work on this particular project, you want to follow some kind of testing principles. What are the principles it is? See, testing will be focused on meeting the business objectives, cost efficiency, and quality. See, this is the main principle they want each and every testing team should follow. Okay. So there will be a common consistent procedures for all teams supporting testing activities. So you should have some common set of things and consistency procedures which you are just going to follow. Okay, that is one of the principles. See, you want to follow all the principles which is given in this test plan. So based on this principles only, you are just going to move further. So testing process will be well defined, yet flexible, with the ability to change as needed. Means, so initially they are going to define the process, but you should be very much flexible. Why? Means based on the changes, it's going to be come into the picture by the customers. Okay, if you are going to be defined, means then that is fine. If the customer is not going to give any changes, you are going to proceed with the defined process. If the customer is going to come up with the changes, you should be very much flexible to take up any changes that is comes into the picture in the middle also. You should not hesitate to take the changes. Right? You are getting the point. And the testing activities will be built upon previous stages to avoid redundancy or duplication of efforts. So, see, this is one of the principles. See, all these principles, they are going to put it in this document. You just want to read these principles and you want to follow it in your project executions. You're just getting it right. So testing will be repeatable and quantifiable and measurable activity. It's going to be, everyone is going to measure what are the things that you have tested, how many defects you have found, and how many defects the development team has fixed. So
what is quantifiable?
Quantifiable means it's going to be, say, what and all the things you are going to release. It should be those how many test cases you are going to do take it, and they are going to measure the quality and quantity. Means it's both are going to come under this particular quantifiable. Means, so did you covered all the quality related steps in this particular test cases execution, and you have covered all the things, whatever the things that is mentioned in the requirement documents. So everything is going to be very much it's related to quality and quantity of the system. So both they are going to measure the things here. That is quantifiable. And measurable activities means, see how many test cases you have executed. In that, how many test cases got passed, how many test cases got failed. So how many test cases are still in progress. So that kind of things and all they are going to measure here. So these things and all, it's going to be like this. These are all the particularly it's principles. So you want to follow all these kind of things in the like in your test case execution. You're just getting it right.
Yes.
So testing will be divided into distinct phases. So anyway, you know about these phases and all. So each with clear definition, objectives and goals should be there. There will be a entrance and exit criteria should be. Means when you are going to start the testing, when you are going to stop the testing. You see, you should have the focus when you want to stop the testing. That you should have one deadline. So see, as a test engineer, if you are not going to have a deadline, means keep on the cycles are going to get rotated. So you should have a deadline and you should stop your testing by yourself. So no one is going to insist you. So that is the exit. Entrance, when you are going to enter into a testing, when you are going to exit, means stop the testing. That you should be very much clear. Okay. So that you are going to define in the coming sessions. Okay. So next one is data approaches. Already I told you, you want to test the system. There should be some proper data should be loaded into the database. So then only you'll be able to perform the things properly. Then scope and levels of testing. See what is meant by scope and levels of, what are the levels of testing first? See, there are, I told you already, exploratory testing, functional testings, and some kind of other testings and all, it's going to come inside this. So in this test acceptance criteria, what are the test acceptance criteria? So before that, if you just see this type of testing means exploratory means the main purpose of this test is to make sure the critical defects are removed before next level of testing the testings can start. So this, after doing exploratory only, the next level of testings are going to get started. So scope, what is the scope means? First level navigation, dealers and admin modules are going to be there. So here, this is based on the project. Okay. So who is going to involve here? The testing team members who has a good experience. They are going to do the exploratory testing. Method, the exploratory testing is carried out in application without any test scripts and documentations. You're just getting it right.
Yes.
And it's going to be the beginning at each cycle. So if each and every cycle gets started, you want to do this exploratory testing at same. And the functional testing will be performed to check either the functionality of the application, and the functional testing is carried out by feeding the inputs and validates the output from the application. So what is the main scope of this means? The below Excel sheet details about the scope of functional testing. The scope is high level due to the changes in the requirements. So to keep this document easily fragmented and categorized, the scope has been embedded as separate documents. So if you can insert a table, like see, actually for functional testings and all, so we are just going to have some kind of test cases related stuff. Okay. So, and also what are the functionalities that you are just going to cover? Either you can have a tabular column here, and or otherwise you are just going to have some set of brief Excel and you're going to attach here. See here in this document, what and all the things it's going to be there means. So who is the user, login user, and what is the scenario you're just going to cover? 1 second, just a minute. Hello. Okay, fine. See, what and all, who are the users and what and all the scenarios. See, for example, login in if you take our project itself, like a sample project I have given, right? So login page, my information, photography, and the other things and all it is there, right? In that pages, what are the sub level pages, sub levels or sub like what are the tasks that are available in this login page? Login only it is there, but in this my information, add information is there, delete information, verify information, even so something is going to be there. So for each and every pages, how much complexity the page complexity is, like it is a medium or it's a complex, something you want to medium or complex or it's low, like that you are just going to mention the complexity of this things, and how many test cases you are just going to how many test cases that you have prepared for this kind of things, and in that how many negative test cases, how many positive test cases. So such kind of information and all it is available, and expecting additional test cases, something it is going to be there, like these kind of informations and all. So you want, they are going to provide in this particular document. Okay, so that document is going to be attached with this test plan. Why they are going to attach means, see totally how many screens is there and what are the how much of the effort they are going to take. So they want to calculate some kind of things and all, right? So that comes under this functional related stuff. You are getting this point?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So test will be performed according to functional scripts. So what is the main method? It's like here also testing team is going to do, and after exploratory testing is going to get completed, right? So these things and all it's going to be there. Next one in this test plan, right? See, in the test plan, now you just got it right. They are going to give the complete picture. What the testing, like what are the process you want to follow for completing this project? What are the testing project, testing process? Okay. Now you are getting the complete picture, I think, right? Regarding this test plan. So in this test plan, they have mentioned that test acceptance criteria. So if you want to once the testing has been done, you want to accept the things. So who is going to accept? So who is going to approve some kind of documentation related stuff? Who is going to approve the test cases? Who is going to give the sign off for that? So these things and all they are going to mention in this. Means if you have prepared the test cases, means you want to get the sign off for that particular test cases. So without getting the sign off, you cannot release the test cases for the test execution process. So if you are going to already, if there is some kind of functional specification documents is there, means so that functional specification document should be signed off by any one of the persons. Like for example, see here, approved functional specification documents, use case documents must be available prior to start the test design phases. So this is mandatory. If you want to start your test case preparation, so this document should be ready. Then only you can start your test cases. So test case, if you are going to prepare the test case, that test case should be signed off prior to start test execution process. So these two things should be, like you are getting this point, right? And the development completed unit testing with a pass status and result shared to testing team to avoid duplicate defects. See, before you start your testing, right? Development team needs to complete the unit testing, and if they are ready with the things, they want to share the execution steps. See, in this project they are following that. Maybe in your project the development team may share or may not share. So that depends. Okay. So this process and all, what is the process they are following in this they want to follow in this process? They have documented this one. You are getting this point, right? So test environment will be applicable. Test environment with the applications installed, configurations, and ready to use state. So test environment should be prepared, and once the test environment is ready, we want to take our testings. So all these things are going to be like on the defect planning. See these things, and defect fix planning based on the defect means defect triage, that means unit testing and evaluation of the criteria. So production like data is going to be available to test all the functionalities. Such kind of things and all they have mentioned in this document. You want to follow this. That's it. Blindly, you want to follow this document and do just execute your process, testing process. So what are the test deliverables? Finally, you should have after completing your testing, you should have test plan release should be there. Functional test cases should be there. Defects should be there, and defect tracking should be there. And daily and weekly status report should be maintained. Finally, test close report also should be maintained. These are all the deliverables. So you should come up with this particular deliverables after completing the testing. And what are the milestone list you want to achieve? Milestone means what? See, the milestone list is a tentative and it's going to be tentative and may change due to the below reasons. See, initially before the testing gets started, we are just going to give some assumptions. So, see, for first employee module page, so when it is going to start, when it is going to end, totally how many days it is going to take, and development in that development team, when it's going to develop, when it's going to end, when it's going for the next level of testing team related. See, it is a testing team related stuff. When they are going to start the testing, when they are going to end, and the recycling. So when, again, it's go to the first level of navigations. When they are going to start this, when they are going to end. So next one, the development team again, like if they are going to fix some issues, means when in the cycle 2. So when they are going to start, when they need to end, and retesting needs to be when the here only test. It's not retest. Here only test. When here retest when it's going to started and when it's going to end. Totally how many days it's going to take for this kind of process and all. So like this, they are going to give some estimated data. That means tentative dates will be given here. So you want to almost 90% you want to satisfy this date. If that dates are going to skip, means that there should be some particular reason. It is the only related to these particular reasons only that should be there. That means, so any issue in the system environment is readiness, or otherwise any changes in the scope or addition in the scope. See, if any requirement, additional requirement comes into the picture, or any environment is not working properly because of some other technical issues, or any other dependencies that impacts efforts on timelines. So related to this, if you are just going to have, right, then it's going to be like because of this only your dates should get changed. You should not say simply you did not tested it on time and you did not come and say that I am not able to test like that. No. So at least try to satisfy the dates. So 95% you should complete the works within the given time. So maybe because of these reasons it's going to vary, means that it's not in our hand. Okay. So that is they have mentioned this. See, while preparing the test plan itself, they are going to give some tentative dates. So you want to follow that particular date and you want to complete the task within that given dates. Okay, you are just getting it right.
So
Yes.
what if we are late for the testing and all?
Pardon?
What if we are late for the testing, for the submission and all? Do they give some more time to test?
Not getting you.
If you are late for the submission, like for the testing, what happened?
See, almost you should meet the deadlines. If you are not able to meet the deadlines, you should give the proper justification. If there is no proper justification, so some escalations is going to come to the things. Like see, more escalations comes into the picture. So if your work is getting escalated to higher management, means, so you know, right, anything can happen. So I cannot say in my words. You are getting my point.
Yes, sir.
See, either you will be out of the project, or you will be given warnings, or otherwise anything. See,
Okay.
almost you should be. See, you are in the place of. Um, so you want to make the things. You want to make the things to be perfect. So you are going to provide the quality output to the customers. You are in that position. You cannot delay by yourself, right? You should be on time. You should assure yourself you are going to provide the quality output. You are going to provide the things in on time. You are going to make the developers to follow up and get the things in the right time. See, almost everything is going to be in your hand only. You are the person who is most responsible for the things. So if anything is not going on time, or almost, you should take care of the things. So you cannot say if it is not able to deliver means like what happened and all. So almost it. So you are in the position to question others. So you should not take any questions from some other some other persons, because you are on the top of developers. You are going to give the sign off for the project release. So you definitely you want to follow the timelines. If the developer is doing some delay in the development related stuff, you want to escalate that to the higher management.
Yeah.
See, everyone, whatever the work they are doing, right? So it is going to be exposed to everyone. So anyway, there is a lot of scrum calls is going on. Like every day, scrum call will be going on. So if you are not on track, definitely you will be caught then and there, and they are going to give the solutions for that, or otherwise, like if it is really an issue, then that can be considered. That depends on the situations. Okay.
Yeah.
You're getting the points.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, fine. Then in the acceptance testing, what are the things that they are going to do? Already I have explained you about these things. And test deliverables, I have explained you who is going to be the author, like who is going to give the things, and what is the testing effort, estimation effort, like how this document is going to list out all the activities that have to be performed. So if you see here, so as a QA team member, what are the functionalities that you are just going to test? How much time you are just going to, for how many man days you are going to take? So for completing each and every task, it is going to take 10 like man days, not hours, man days. Man days. Okay, 10 for completing this particular thing, 10 days. For completing this requirement, 5 days. For completing this particular task, means for preparing test plan, 5 days. For preparing requirement, for doing a requirement analysis, 5 days. So for you want to get the information from the existing application, you are going to take 10 days. And test environment setup, 10 days. Ad hoc testing, you are going to take 10 days. Something like that. You are just going to have some kind of estimations. So functional related stuff, and test design effort. So totally it's going to take 77 days. And for executing the test cases, cycle 1, cycle 2, and all those things, cycle 1 is going to take 40 days, and defect fixing maybe 1 day, and cycle 2 it's going to be again take 40 days and 8 days, something. See, this is not particularly this is going to vary based on your project to project. Okay, this is the some of the assumptions they have just given it. This dates and time also, it's going to be some set of like estimation things. It may get vary. Okay, but when they are the managers are, they are going to come up with this kind of estimations. So you should almost 90% you should adapt to this particular things. If it is going to get vary means, then the process, there is some changes in the process. That's what you need to come up with the things. And how you are just going to execute, what is the execution strategies, when you are just going to start your testing, when you are going to complete the things. So entry criteria to be started. Can you please read these things and let me know if you have any doubts? So this document is going to be very much clear. So in the exit criteria, 100% test script should be executed. That is, team should be done, give the okay, and as well as technical team should give the testing team and technical team, development team. Both the teams should complete the things, and they want to assure 100% test scripts got executed. And in that test cases, you should execute all the test cases. In that, at least 95% of the test cases should be passed. Pass rate should be 95%. Below 95% means it is not going to be accepted. So no open criteria and high severity defects should be available after you are going to, when you are going to close your application, right? So there should not be any critical or high severity defect should be there. And also 95% of medium severity defects have been closed. So medium also, it should close 95% of the things. Maybe 5% it may be there. It can be there. So all the remaining defects are either cancelled or documented as a change request for future release. You are understanding this point? See, I told you, right, maybe 5% of the defects are there, means that defect you are going to document it and you are going to take it for the next releases. Okay, that should be documented properly. All expected and actual results are captured and documented with a test script. So what is your expected result and actual result? Anyway, you are going to capture in the test cases. So no worries. So you have done that you can tick it. So all testing metrics collected based on reports from HPAL. This is different metrics collection related stuff. So management people are going to take care of these things. All defect logged in the some set of, actually they are saying some kind of tool here. So that tool is like, maybe this tool is going to get vary based on your project. Okay. So they are going to track all these reports here. If you are going to track by using Jira, means like you are just going to put Jira tool. So if you are going to log the defects in the Jira, means you are just going to put Jira. See, I think already I have explained you related to Jira related stuff. So I have just shown you how the Jira, you can create the project in the Jira, how you can create the epics into the Jira, how you can create user stories under the epics, how you can create the defects in the user stories, and how the things are like status are going to get vary. All the things I have already explained you. Hope you remember that. Right?
Yes.
Oh, fine. So, and see, this is going to be the, in the exit criteria, this checklist, you want to check all these things has been completed or not. Then only you can close your project. So test closure memo completed and sign off should be taken. Test environment cleanup, after testing is done completely, you want to clean up the unnecessary data which you have entered into the system. So that thing should be happen. Next, test cycles. See, already I have explained you about this test cycle. In the first cycle, you are going to test the functionalities. After that, if you find any bugs, so it is going to be reported to the developers. Developers is going to fix again. After fixing, they are going to send it to the test engineers. We are going to do the recycling. So like this, we are just going to do some kind of things. And also validation and defect management is going to happen. So what are the validations and defect managements? Already we discussed about this. They have given it, we have given in the documentation. So defects in the sense that it comes to the severity and critical. So, what are the defects that comes under the critical and priority? See, critical related bugs and all, priority 1. High level means it's a priority 2. Medium means it's priority 3. Low level means it's priority 4. Cosmetic means it's priority 5. So like that, what is critical issues means this bug is critical enough to crash the system, cause file corruption, or cause potential data loss. So this kind of things and all, it comes under the critical. Means if any system is getting crashed, so not able to proceed further, or it is files are getting corrupted, uh, or otherwise data is getting lost when you open the application. Such kind of things are coming, right? Those things and all, you are going to mark it as a critical bugs. So it causes an abnormal returns to the operating systems or crash or any other things or system failure messages appears. So it caused the application to huge hang and requires rebooting the systems. So any system is getting hanged because of this application or something. The application itself is getting hanged or something. It's there means those things and all. It's going to be high level critical related bugs. So high level related bugs and all means it causes a lack of vital program functionality. If any functionality which is given in the documents are not working properly, so those things and all, it comes under the high level. So medium means these bugs will degrade the quality of the system. So however, there is an intelligent workaround for achieving the desired functionalities. For example, though another screens. uh, so this bug prevents other areas of the products from being tested. However, other areas can be independently tested. So this kind of things and it comes under medium. Low level bugs means there is an insufficient or uncleared error messages. So for example, if pop-up message is getting displayed, in that message, the error message is not properly, like it is not in a given standard or format or message itself, it's wrong message or something means it's going to be around low. So message is not clearly displayed. Such kind of things and all, it's going to be low level. So there is an insufficient or uncleared error messages that has no impact on product use. So that things and all, it's going to be comes under cosmetic. Cosmetic, I told you. So maybe alignment is changed. So left side there is some space is there, right side space that you want to clear the, you want to utilize that space. Such kind of things and all, it's going to be cosmetic related bugs. And what are the test metrics? See, like this, they are going to mention each and everything in the test plan. You are just going to follow this test plan and you are going to, even for raising the bug also. So what, like you can just map the bug under this particular severity or priority and all. By using these documents, you can just have it. So it's clear, right? So
Yes.
Yep.
next, test metrics to measure the progress. What is the metrics here? Like, see, what is the test, like a test preparation and execution status? It's going to be like, and daily executions status and the project weekly status reports. So these kind of things and all, you are just going to follow the things here. So to report how many percentage of the test, how many test cases you have prepared, how many test cases are WIP means work in progress, how many test cases you are just you have tested and executed and it's passed, how many test cases it got failed percentage. So you want to mention like you want to bring up this kind of things and all status defect status reports. You want to prepare such kind of status report by, so it can be frequency. They are going to mention either you want to submit this report weekly or daily, or it's an optional something, it's going to be there. And the daily execution status report, so how many cases are passed, failed, totally how many defects you find. So here defects are severity wise, they are going to mention open, closed, any other status related stuff. So what are the showstopper issues are there? What are the critical defects are there? So these kind of reports you want to provide it daily, or because if you are going to provide daily only, then these things can be addressed by the development team. So that, so they are going to give like in this test plan, they have given like when you want to provide this kind of reports. So what and all the reports you want to mention, like project weekly status report should be prepared. So what is happening in the testing team? They want to observe, the PM is going to observe these things. So these things and all, it's going to be there. Like this, they have defined the process here. So you want to just follow, you want to prepare this kind of thing while doing the testing and all. And the next one is defect tracking and reporting related stuff. So anyway, you know, right, it's going to start, initially you are going to find as test engineers, you will get the thing and you are going to find some bugs, defects that is going to be verified and validated by the test leads. And then it is going to be sent to the corresponding development lead, and development lead is going to assign to the developers. The assign is going to be done to the developers, and developer is going to fix the defects, and like it is going to be sent to the tester. Tester is going to retest, and if it is yes approved, like a testing, like okay means he is going to send, close the defects, or otherwise again it is going to be send it to the developer. Again they are going to assign it to the developer and fix the issues. So it's going to happen like this. See, what is the process you want to follow? Who is going to here in this project? They are saying that the development lead is going to assign the issues to the developers. In some cases, project managers will be assigning the things to the developers. So this is going to vary this process based on the project to project. So you are just going to follow this kind of things process. What process you want to follow in while raising the bugs, so that it is given in this document. You are just going to check this and you are going to follow the same process. That's it. So this and all, it is explaining about that graphical related stuff only. Yeah, they have explained this here. And change the status to involve. Like there will be some set of status. I told you, right? Initially, it's going to be open, and next it's going to be assigned. And if the developer is going to say it is an invalid bug, means he can mark it as invalid or junk bug. So junk means it's not a really, it's not a bug. They simply the tester has raised this bug. Like that, they are going to mark it as a test junk. Or otherwise, if the tester is going to test again, retest means will be having retest option. Finally, you are just going to close. And if you have again find the same bug, means you are going to reopen the same issue. And in progress is going to be done by the developer, resolved and fixed status and all, it's going to be there. Next, in this test management process. So what is the main test management process you want to follow? What is the manager? That means based on the requirement document, test cases should be prepared. Each resource in the testing team can be modified the test cases. During the test design phase, all the test engineers, right? See, all the process which we have discussed till now, right? They have just mentioned in this document as a test management process. So in the test design process, it's going to be, so initially understanding the requirements, establishing traceability metrics, and preparing of test cases, and peer reviews is going to happen. And finally, you are just going to incorporate review comments to the test cases. So that process only, what is the process you want to follow in the execution? So what is the execution process you follow? So executing each test steps in the test cases. So mark status as pass or fail in the test cases. Raise defects for the failed test cases. And send the daily status report to the managers. Participate in defect tracking cycles and execute defects. Complete the testing executions of the test plan. See, all these things, right? See, they have mentioned the process here. You are just going to read this test plan and you are going to follow this process as it is. That's it. So what are the test risk and mitigation factors that is going to be there? So what are the risk you will be going to face? So in the scheduling risk and the resources related stuff, and if there is any defects found at the last stage, and what are the things that it's going to be there. So these things and all they are going to mention. See, I'll just go through these things. Test risk and mitigations means what? See, usually schedule. They have just scheduled the like they have testing schedule is very tight actually. So if it's going to be start on testing in delayed due to design task or a test cannot be extended beyond the UAT or scheduled start time, that is going to be very high. Impact is going to be very high, and here mitigation plan will be the testing team can control the preparation task in advance, and the early communication with involved participants. That means, see, this kind of things and all, it's going to be come into the picture means schedule. You asked, right? Payas asked me a question. So if it is not, I am not going to meet the schedule, then what is going to be? See, you want to first inform the team, saying that we are not able to meet the deadlines. Okay, then some buffer has been added to the schedule. Maybe they may extend the date, or something will be, the management is going to take some kind of steps. They are going to talk with the customers and they are going to extend the release dates or something. Okay, you're getting it right?
Yes, sir.
So, and if the resources is not enough, for example, maybe in the middle, some of the resources are going for a leave for some urgency related stuff. So around 15 days, it's going to get delayed. How we are just going to manage the things? So holidays and vacations has been estimated and built into the schedules. Deviations from the estimations could be deviate in delays in the testing. So that you want to manage the things, like you want to work on weekends, or otherwise you want to support the team. Everyone wants to take care of the things process. If the delay is missing means, so some other resources who is available, right? They want to support. So in this case, so defects are, you are going to find the defects at the last stage means, so then defects and all, defect management plan is in the place to ensure prompt communications and fixing the issues. So that you want to take care of some kind of things and all here. So this kind of risk and all you are going to face. So if that risk comes in, what are the steps that you want to follow? So that they will be mentioning in this test plan. So scope, completed definitions, and the natural disasters. If there is any natural disasters, like because of that you cannot go to office or something, right? For that anyway, it is going to be very much exemptions are going to be given. No worries about that. Non-availabilities of independent test environment acceptables. So that's kind of things and all. It's going to delay testing due to new issues or something. So those things, how you are just going to do. So like this, you're just going to get some kind of information from this test plan. See, you just read this test plan and you follow the process. So regarding all these things are already I have discussed regarding the project manager, what he wants to do in the test plan, and the test leads and test teams are what they want to do. And test leads who is going to responsible for what type of things, and testing team. And development team is responsible for what type of things. These things are already we discussed. So test environment, who is like what are the servers we are just going to use for hosting, and something like it's going to be server 1 or server 2, server 1 or server 2, server 2 or something. It's going to be there. So Linux, like what are the OS you are just going to use? What are the browsers you are going to use? What browsers the application is going to support? Such kind of things and then it's going to be there. Finally, you want to get the approval and sign off. They want to get this sign off documentations from the corresponding either business analyst or otherwise with the management team. So this is, see, now you understand, right, what is there in this test plan. Test plan is going to communicate the entire testing process. What is the process that you want to follow for completing your testing, end-to-end process. See, by just reading the test plan itself, you will be able to understand what is the process they are following in that particular project. So if you are going to enter into any company, right, first you just go and ask them, can you please provide me the test plan? Why means, by reading this test plan itself, you will be able to understand some 90% of the process, what they are following inside the company, inside that particular project. So that is the way our part, like almost like a manual testing process and all, it has been done and completed from my end. So we have seen the complete process by after going through this test plan.